Time now for hour number 1 of the Saturday special. This is AM 1080 KSCO.
The kid is moving back in. No problem. Store their stuff at Anbar Self-Storage in U-Haul. Easy off Highway 1 on Airport Boulevard by the airport. 24-hour security, drive-up access. Spring cleaning special, first month free. Store it at Anbar Self-Storage in U-Haul.
That's what I can get up right now. Is this the right music for today's?
No.
All right. We'll bicker for a few minutes, and I will get you your intro.
It's all right. I guess it's okay. You know, it's probably the more appropriate intro music is no music. May I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead and ask that personal question, MZ.
Do you think that a 2-hour joke special is not only appropriate, but necessitated?
Absolutely. They say humor is the best medicine.
Okay, I agree with that. We used to do joke specials in the 90s, you know, with my father, Dr. Barry Zwerling, and John Muth, you know, who did the Noon Balloon. And they both had, great, infectious senses of humor, mostly with dirty jokes, And,
fascinating.
Yeah, and we, for several days before we would go on the air with those specials, I think we did 4 of them with Jack Muth and my dad, we would send a promo saying if tasteless, risque, off-color ethnic humor offends you, do not listen to the next KSCO Saturday special. And of course, that made everybody, even the people who were offended at those sorts of things, that listen in droves. Dave Michaels, what a pleasant surprise. So,
hey MZ, how are you? So I'm scrubbing down right now, with scrub down my face and my ears.
With Pure Works?
I don't know what that stuff is, but it burns.
Oh. You know what? Why are we using alcohol-based stuff when we have, maybe we're getting low on Pure Works? Is that the reason?
Yes, we're very, very low on Pure Works. As a matter of fact, I'd have to search high and low to find even a bottle if it does exist. I called the company, and there is no estimated date that they'll be in. Right now, they're on what they call back order, right? But right now, I just don't see them coming in at any time soon.
This is an outrage, but should have been expected.
Yeah.
Should have been anticipated by poor old beleaguered MZ, Right. But you know me, I always blame others for things that I should take, and in this case, I'll blame you.
All right. Well, the good news, MZ, is I'm going to be out at the Dave Cave. That's the good news. I'm still there. The bad news is that you're going to have to knock and you won't be allowed in. But you knock up there and say, tell me what you need. You can even look from outside and we'll get you what you want. It's going to have to be exact change. I'm not going to be giving out any change. So make sure you bring
change
some.
Or more.
Or more.
Right? No such thing as exact change or less.
If you don't mind, I'll keep the change. Thank you very much. I'm not going to be giving out any change. So make sure you bring exact change or I guess a check would be the next thing. But cash, exact change is preferable.
Someone had said we should not accept cash, but we would be hypocrites if we don't accept cash.
Right.
Because we do have some Pure Works for us.
Right. Yeah, we got ways. We'll take care of ourselves. We just want to make sure that we don't pass anything along to any of our customers. So when you place your order, you come out to the Dave Cave. I'll be sure to wipe down everything, put it in a bag for you, and then you can take it home.
Okay.
And, yeah. So that's the way we're going to have to do it for the foreseeable future. And if you're listening right now, again, I don't know what's going on. Call the station to find out if I'm out there. But you can always call 218-5726 and have it scheduled for pickup or delivery. That number is 218-KSCO.
Have you gotten many since you've announced that?
I've got 3 or 4. One of them is from Prunedale. I'm looking forward to heading out that way. I need to return his call. So it's...
Let's talk about just the notion of beefing up your immune system. This shames like soundless self-promotion. You know what I'm trying to say. Right. And I suppose it is, but there is also some logic to it. In fact, quite a bit of logic. We get to know a little bit more about the virus every day, apparently. But to me, it stands to reason that if your immune system is better than worse, that your chances of picking up the virus is less.
Right. And on that note, if you're wondering what is the best way to keep your immune system boosted, obviously nutritional supplements, right? We recommend the Tangy Tangerine that has 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, but it's got a whole bunch of stuff in there. Tangy Tangerine is a great value, but this is kind of counterintuitive. Your immune system, MZ, starts in your stomach, in your gut, right? So that's why
what Pharmacist Ben told
that's
you
what
once?
Pharmacist Ben will tell you. That's what Dr. Wallach will tell you. That's what anybody who's in the know will tell you, that the immune system, a healthy immune system, begins in the gut. And that's why we sell the Healthy Digestion Pack, right? It has
the basis of which is the enzymes.
The enzymes and the flora, because there's more to, there's digestion and then the gut.
I haven't had any of that, and maybe I should.
You should call 218-5726, MZ.
Okay,
That's 218-KSCO. We can have it delivered or schedule a pickup.
Yeah.
Until this whole thing, cools down and goes away. That's the way we're going to have to do it now. 218-KSCO.
Right.
831 is the area code.
Okay, Dave Michaels.
So I'll be out there in the Dave Cave. I'll have the open sign. The door's going to be locked to make sure nobody barges in.
Oh, yeah.
But we're still open for modified business.
Some dirty bastard might try to do that.
Somebody will try, and literally dirty. Dirty, yeah. I don't know about the other part, MC. All right, I'll see you later.
There goes Dave Michaels and his orchestra. The purveyor of the Dave Cave. Oh, okay. Now, what I want to do is bring up my email, if I can. And while I'm doing that, Josh Stevens, why don't you do the good morning jingle?
That's what I was thinking. Okay. Also, if you're pulling up what I think you're pulling up, you should probably look at your Windows Media Player tab, because that has that MP3 ready to go. If you're looking for the thing from our digital media.
Oh, really?
directory.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, it's right down there. Thank you.
So that's ready to go.
Play again, go to library, play previous.
Play again would be the option when you're ready.
Oh. Okay.
Good morning.
All right.
A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
How strange these times are, ladies and gentlemen. But we're here for you, you're there for us, and together we're going to make it through this surreal experience. All right, it's the Saturday special right up until 12 noon today. It's going to be an open mic. We're just going to talk about whatever unveils itself here.
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Sure.
Appropriate, I reckon.
Yeah. Normally,
Good morning.
Wow.
we're just wishing multiple good mornings to people today.
We got to keep it on a positive vibe. That's
under
why.
the circumstances. Okay, listen, I was just going to open my email from Jaunty and just play it that way. But you're telling me if I just hit play again.
That's exactly the same thing. I made sure to get that on your computer, but I forgot to get you your other openers on there.
Right. Okay, so we'll hit that, and if it comes out right, it will. Now, normally we have a call from Jaunty McCollier, our director of digital media for both KSCO and ZBS, come on top of the second hour, just after the news and weather and traffic. This time, he wrote a 5-minute long message.
Wow.
You heard me right, 5-minute long message. And Jaunty is very cerebral. He does a lot of research, and he thinks a lot.
I believe it. I mean, if you got to manage so many websites at once, it's got to be a bright cookie.
Several thousand websites that Jaunty manages. It's amazing. Wow. Yeah, and so here we go. We're going to play it and see and hope it works, okay?
Hi, this is Jaunty McCollier, KSCO's Director of Digital Media. Welcome to that special part of the Saturday Special where I say something special. Every action causes an equal and opposite reaction. Wrong! Sure, that may be true in applications of Newtonian physics, but we live in a world of technology and consciousness. Take, for instance, the proverbial button that launches a Trident II thermonuclear missile. It probably only takes a few joules, calories, or watts worth of energy to push the button, but the domino sequence of likely effects will turn most major cities to glass and render much of the Earth uninhabitable. So you see, a small action can in fact have a decidedly unequal reaction. That's because we're not in a universe of billiard balls. The most rudimentary forms of life learn that putting food in their mouths will satiate their hunger, while higher forms of awareness store nuts or fly south for the winter. It could even be argued that predicting the future is a fundamental part of the nature of mind, or at the very least science. For what good is a thought that has no bearing or consequence in reality, or a theory that can never be tested? People who study epistemology talk about a priori or a posteriori knowledge. A priori knowledge is stuff you know before anything actually happens. 2 + 2 = 4, whether or not you count up apples. A posteriori refers to knowledge that is based on experience. It's knowledge that kicks you in the posterior, if that helps. We all use a little of both, but many of us rely rather heavily on a posteriori or experiential knowledge. Those folks have normalcy bias, a form of cognitive dissonance where we assume the future will be like the past, even when it obviously won't. For example, when someone says, the flu kills more people every year than the coronavirus, they have overlooked a simple fact. We've only had a few months of the coronavirus. We can't say how many people it kills in a year until the end of a year comes around and kicks us in the posterior. Meanwhile, the a priori thinkers of the world have been calculating doubling times and discussing methods of flattening the curve for months. It's because so many of our predictions of the future are based on past experience that we get anxious or frightened when the past suddenly won't predict the future. When something new or novel comes along, doing the same thing we did yesterday and expecting the same result is no longer an option. When yesterday is no longer a good way of predicting tomorrow, how quickly do we push aside bloviating politicians in a desperate search for the best knowledge science can offer? When everything is predictable, we want the reassuring, hand-waving, obvious incompetence of a government deadlocked in scorched earth media maneuvering to stabilize markets in the assurance that nothing will change. When the future becomes unpredictable, the same politics puts markets into tailspins and sends people panicking after toilet paper. Being conscious is about predicting the future with every bit of knowledge we can digest, adjusting your behavior accordingly to produce the desired outcome, and, most importantly, getting it right. For every one of us that stays home as much as possible and otherwise acts like a complete germaphobe in the face of the coronavirus, our small actions produce an outsized effect. For every one of us that parties for spring break, goes on a handshake tour, or sneezes in an elevator, your small actions have thermonuclear consequences. When our actions must change to remain conscious, it's time to use logic. Participate in the scientific process. Act with compassion and humility. And for the sake of yourselves, your families, your friends, and all your fellow human beings, do the math. Speaking of the math, I bet a lot of you are stuck at home wondering what to do with yourselves. Well, MZ has been on the air telling you about a home-based business selling immune system boosting nutritional supplements for over 20 years. Has there ever been a better time to find out more about it? You can go to deaddoctorsradio.com, but the best thing to do is to talk to Dave in the Dave Cave, well, outside the Dave Cave from at least 6 feet away, or if you like the way I do the math, email jc@ksco.com. Or if you want to go straight to the top, email mz@ksco.com and say, I'm interested in the business. What next? Once again, I'm John T. McCollier. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of the Saturday special. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do, don't pick your nose.
Excellent. Well done, John T.
That was nice advice, to not pick one's nose.
Very solid.
It's always good advice to not pick one's nose, but today in particular. Do you hear that out there? All the noses listening to KSCO, and most noses that I know have 2 nostrils. Do not pick either one of them, just to make it clear.
Yep. That is unless you take a little PureWorks, just like you mentioned last week.
I love to pick my nose with PureWorks first. And a friend I have just gave a scathingly, ew, how could you do that? Type look. I do that because I value my health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also love how when somebody called you out over that or a similar action, you just grabbed that bottle and you were like lathering it religiously.
Yeah.
In the middle of that call. I had a good laugh at that, actually.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably didn't notice.
So listen, Josh Stevens, I put out the word. I thought Rosie had a scathingly brilliant idea, as she would say herself.
What's that?
To have a Saturday joke special, which we haven't had in a while. Can you think of a better time where we need humor and belly laughs and stuff like that than a time like this?
Oh, certainly. In fact,
479-1080 in area 831 mz@ksco.com. Somebody sent me an email already.
What you got?
Saying if I keep the person's name out of it, they have something to share. But they didn't share anything. So I put a question mark. I said 3 question marks. What the hell does this mean?
Yeah.
I mean, does that mean I have to promise first that I won't share the name?
Maybe they're being passive-aggressive and saying, yeah, nothing's funny about this, so therefore I have nothing to share. Did you consider that notion?
Maybe.
That's a strong possibility. You never know, because some people are like,
there has been an answer. There has been an answer here. I'm going to check for the answer. National Guard coming to, quote, help with food distribution, unquote. Okay. I mean,
what?
I will keep the name out of it, but I don't understand why. What's the big deal?
I guess because they figured it's something that could be politicized, and therefore they don't want to be part of that name sharing or to be affiliated with it. That'd be my guess.
This is a person who has never, he or she have never, to my knowledge, been shy about their thoughts. There are lots of other humans, and I've never been shy about mine either. I mean, my thoughts are, I'm open-minded to all points of view, and I'm not going to be, disrespectful to anybody. I have my own leanings, my own political leanings, I do think that Trump is the greatest president we've ever had, nor ever will have. But they might have found a way, or they might have a way might have stumbled upon the world to sink Trump's ship. Because there's no question that there's going to be a devastating effect on the economy.
Right. Well, since you mentioned Trump, I could describe this one meme I shared with you and the others that had generated a few laughs while we're on the note of jokes.
Please, I want to laugh so hard.
All right. Well, so we all remember that one scene where Nancy Pelosi had that whole transcript of Trump's State of the Union, and she ripped it up, right?
Right, yes.
Well, in this particular meme that I posted on the KSCO billboard, well before all this hullabaloo, on it, it has that same transcript, but the transcript is erased, and it says, pass meaningful legislation that helps people instead of doing petty symbolic gestures. And Pelosi's ripping up that same page.
Let's read it again. I think we should read that for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, especially if nobody calls in with a joke.
Pass meaningful legislation that helps people instead of doing petty symbolic gestures.
Right. This is very good.
Let's see. I've got another one that's more relevant for the season. It's one with Baby Yoda, and Baby Yoda's sitting at an office desk, and it says, me acting surprised when HR tells me I can't spray my coworkers with Lysol. He's just there with the little shocked face and all that.
Yeah.
It is so great.
By squinting, I could see it. Yeah, because you don't have much light in there in the control room.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, that's good. Hey, listen, gang. I was telling my friend on the way over here that we are thank you, that we are going to have, I believe, a bigger than normal audience, larger than normal audience here for the Saturday special, because what the hell else is there to do?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
actually, there's
tucked
a lot.
away.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot, but
yeah.
I can't think of a better, more fun thing to do than tune into the Saturday special, which is a free Panic. What does it say? Panic at the Costco?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's a play on the band Panic at the Disco.
Oh, see, thank you so much, Josh Stevens, for pointing that out to me and our similarly elderly audience here at KSCO who wouldn't understand anything that you said. But I want you to know, and I'm not kidding around, how happy I am, how happy we all are to have you here as part of our family here,
That means a lot, MZ.
Yeah. So I'm not kidding around at all. Okay, joke special. This is from Pure Heart. Hi, poor young MZ. I'm sending this vicious email to send in a joke, maybe. Pure Heart knows my shtick better than many people, because I like to say vicious a lot, especially when someone sends an even slightly critical email. I say they sent in a vicious. Okay, did you hear about the Mexican magician? He took the stage, waved his wand, said uno, dos, and disappeared without a trace. Very good, Pure Heart. Say, what about the La Bahia being demolished? Maybe they waited until this health scare so no one would come out and protest it. Any comment? What an interesting thought. The La Bahia, I mean, people, there would be thousands of people would have a nervous breakdown if the wrecking ball even tapped the La Bahia, and now it's gone. Yeah, might as well take advantage while you can. All right, 479-1080 is the phone number to call. Our esteemed engineer, Richard B. Luther II, called me yesterday with some sobering news. He said that our internet-based on-air phone system, the business phone line is not dependent on the internet, but the on-air phone system is. And we need to change that, because if anything, it should be the other way around, or nothing should be subject to the internet going down and then losing our phone ability. Anyhow, the purpose of him calling me yesterday was to forewarn me about the possibility that the phones might malfunction because the internet might go down for us. Because as more and more people are cooped up at home, more and more people use the internet, and it gets overtaxed, and you can figure out what could happen. But so far, it looks like we have people on the phone waiting. Let's take our first caller. Has a joke. Oh, it's Carlos in Santa Cruz who has a joke. Hi, Carlos. Wait.
Oh,
how are you?
Doing okay. Trying to get through this like everybody else. Staying away from people. It shouldn't be hard for most of us, right?
We better get off. We better make this quick and get off the phone, because I wouldn't want to catch what you might have, and you wouldn't want to catch what I might be carrying.
Exactly. God forbid, right?
Yes.
So listen, how much money does it take to turn a Republican into a socialist?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Well, $1,000 right now. It could be a $4,000, depending on how much the stimulus package.
Right.
And I got another one. And this is for my esteemed Trump supporters and still supporters. You reap what you sow. So enjoy the virus, and let's hope for the best. But at this point in time, just like with the gun control issue, thoughts and prayers for everybody, especially.
I forgot.
The Trump supporter ones.
I forgot, and it's, you can tell me it's none of my business. Probably a stupid thing for me to even bring up, but I forgot whether you're a Trump supporter or not.
No, I'm neither a Trump supporter nor a Nancy Pelosi fan, and after the news yesterday, much less of a Dianne Feinstein supporter that I was before.
Oh yeah, because of the Blum stock sell off, huh?
Yeah,
which has happened many times before. I understand,
Okay, so here's the point. If it has happened before, shame on us for not punishing those politicians. But if it's happened now in this situation, I don't care if you hate me for being, you call me liberal, call me socialist, whatever you want to call me, and I could care less about your political affiliation. But when they're stealing from the people, when they have information, whether it's right or wrong about the coronavirus, you can call it a hoax, you can call it whatever you want, whether it's right or wrong, whether this thing turns out to be what everybody's fearing it to be or what everybody's hoping it's not. I have to tell you, man, when you hear that, don't you just want to bring these people out to the woods and just leave them out there? I mean, literally, doesn't it make you feel that way? People are profiting from information that could be both beneficial.
I wouldn't like to take them out to the woods and leave them there. I would like to take them out to the woods and throw them into a makeshift grave and cover it up and leave that.
I mean,
that's what I'd like to do to the people. To people like that.
I was trying to be a little bit more reasonable, because at this point, everything you're hearing, people may lose a little bit of control on their emotions. So I'm trying to be a little bit more centered.
I know, you're right, and I've never been able to control my emotions. They just come out all over the place.
It's hard, and I think part of the reason why you and I, and maybe Charlie and I, have a lot of disagreements. But in the end, Wait
a minute, you and I have disagreements? Do I always, maybe this is a different Carlos I'm thinking of. You were always one of my favorite, smartest, more intelligent callers.
Well, I mean, we can have disagreements and still like each other, right?
Yes.
I
mean, but what do you think?
Trump the greatest president ever.
Okay, that's what you disagree. Okay, fine. That's okay. Of course you're wrong. Of course you're wrong, but that's okay.
No, but this is the point of this discussion here that you and I are having. Like I said, it's lost. The art of that has been lost amongst more people. And I am at fault of that at some points. I am on the other side yelling, and other people are on the other side yelling. And right now, the last thing we need to be doing is...
What happened?
I think our things went off the line again. I'm going to reset them.
So that's what we have to keep doing now? Okay, yeah. Pez Lobo, who is probably the most critical person, but I think his heart is in the right place, sends an email. Dear MZ, as a fellow Jew, I recognize you are not an evangelical, but attached meme might well include you with your head up. Drumpf's ass. Oh, what a terrible thing to say. I need to be better prepared. I should have read that email first before I chose to read it on the air and offend so many people. Anyhow, it says warmly, Mr. Lobo. He signs all his email. Thumbs down. Yeah. Did anybody like Mr. Lobo's email that I read? I was. What's that word? Courteous. I was courteous to Mr. Lobo, and he was very, very crude and intolerant and an asshole. Sorry, he just is. And I call him as I see him. Now what, Josh Stevens? It seems like the phones are ringing again.
Yeah, they are ringing again.
Yeah. Okay, should I take this unscreened phone call? No, absolutely not. You could get on the mic and say why I shouldn't take.
Because that's one of the people on that green piece of paper that says "Do not accept calls from."
Oh, what was the reason for not accepting, for that person getting on? No, we're not going to say who the person is, obviously, but what was the reason for the person getting on that dreaded list, where they are banned is the wrong word here. Their communication over the KSCO airwaves privileges have been revoked.
I would mainly follow up with Jack on that one because he knows more, but I imagine it has to do something with a certain character or certain artist and one of their band members.
Oh.
And yeah, that's what we'll get at.
Okay. So why are we just letting them stay there?
Because I'm trying to go across the line. I'll take care of it.
Okay, good. In the meantime, maybe I should take this call. This could be very, very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. Forewarned. If things bother you that are unnerving, who is this?
Steve in Capitola.
Oh, okay. I won't feel too nervous that I took your call unscreened, Stephen Capitola.
Yeah, I just called to say hi, MZ. And one of the things that has been interesting for me is I've used a Saturday special as a reference point with the pandemic because every time I call in, I quote you the numbers on Italy. And I remember the first time I called in, it was 2,100 in Italy.
Yeah.
And we're now... I think last time I talked to you, I think it was around 21,000, and now it's up to 47,021 in Italy, 47,000. I also wanted to say Josh is the smartest man in radio.
He's a good boy, despite what everybody says.
In spite of the personal questions.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's not his fault. That's mine. I've been asking really lame personal questions. I'm going to get into some serious personal questions as soon as I have time to sit down and think about.
You're also short by 2.
Well, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure, go ahead.
Have you been walking every day?
Absolutely. By minimum 5 to 7 miles every single day, come hell or high water.
Yeah, I see you on East Cliff sometimes. Now, are you still eating plenty of pork sandwiches?
I just love eating pork sandwiches. What's the name of that barbecue place?
Holy Smokes?
Holy
Which
Smokes.
one?
Yeah, it's where the U.S. Meals used to be.
I missed that place.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
No, it's by the dollar
U.S.
store.
Meals was good. Yes, exactly.
So was Delilicious. You remember that one?
No.
Before? Yeah, that was before U.S. Meals. Same location.
Hello?
Wow, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Stephen Capitola, and so can Josh, but you can't hear him. So because I've punched up the phone, that's the way our.
You didn't ask me. You didn't ask me why I think Josh is the smartest man in radio.
Okay, why?
Well, okay, he's a little smarter than the second smartest man in radio is Jack Stein, and the reason is Josh is younger.
I concede to the statement
I think
about
he's
Jack.
just
Yeah,
a little more
he's definitely
current.
smarter.
Well, you don't have to concede because he already said that you're smarter than Jack.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I agree with Steve on that one.
Oh. That Jack is smart.
Yes.
But you don't totally agree with him because he thinks you're smarter. Or did you miss that part?
Oh, I totally did, but also because I had to get an urgent press release going up that we missed over the week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We got business here. It's all part of being smart.
So do people one mindless thing we can talk about if you want today is what old Saturday specials you might like to hear in the Friday 2 to 4 slot. You know, I wanted to hear MZ and the Hose from June 15th, 1996. You know, I interviewed some ladies of the night. It was a really fun program, and
that would be cool. That would be cool.
The only thing is, I can't find it. It seems to be missing.
Wow.
But you know, since I have nothing else to do but twiddle my thumbs,
I thought of a great.
I might be able to find it. Go ahead, Steve.
I thought of a great filler for Friday afternoon.
What?
It doesn't have to cut you out, but it was something I really wanted to hear over again. Was when Neil Pearlberg had a surf band on called the Reverbivores, and all they did was play surf music for the whole show, and that was one of my favorite shows. In fact, I always wanted to see them after that, but they don't play very often. They don't play around here.
See if you can narrow it down to a date, and we might be able to retrieve it from our system. But part of the problem here. We have a state-of-the-art system that Jonty and others have created, primarily Jonty have created for us over the years. It's sort of a waste of money for me. I'm not kidding around now. When I think of the funds that were committed to make this system, bring it up and running, and realize that it is largely useless because we don't promote it very much. But the biggest reason it's almost useless is that nobody does show notes, okay? I don't even do show notes for the Saturday special. We got that covered, though, because the best show note writer on earth that I know of is Dave Michaels himself. And he has, out of the goodness and kindness of his heart, for the last several years, written the show notes for the Saturday special. So, and they're baked into the audio file. So there's no way you can, well, there is a way that you can't see them depending upon where you go. If you use our app, our KSCO app, you'll be able to see the show notes for the Saturday special. And there might be show notes for a few other of our programs, but largely there are no show notes. So it just says no description or something. No description, no description, no description. What's the point of having something available on demand so that people don't have to miss something that they would really enjoy and benefit from listening to if it is not searchable? And of course it's not searchable if there are no show notes and there are no keywords and there are no meta tags and all those things that anyhow.
MZ.
Yes.
MZ, I love it when you say old beleaguered MZ, and I was wondering if you had any suggestions for any dietary suggestions for making it through the pandemic. And personally, what is MZ eating during the pandemic to stay healthy?
I'm sorry. I'm both sorry and happy to admit that lately, when even I realized that this is way more serious than I thought, and I feel more that way every day. I've been much more diligent and religious about taking our longevity supplements because they're the best in the world as far as I know. I know that they work, and the testament to the fact that they work is that there are so many people who have been using these products for many, many years. A product that you put into your body, and, you know, if a good salesperson can sell anybody anything once, but if the product is not what it's cracked up to be, if it's just a bunch of hype and it doesn't really work and make you feel better, and how can you prove if it makes you live longer? You never know. But you know if it makes you feel better, right? Or if you're feeling better, what do you attribute it to if you've done nothing different other than take some supplements that you hadn't taken before that have all the minerals and all that are complete, you know, where all of the things work together because the mineral cofactors are present. You know, it sounds like, to me, it's a no-brainer. So I've been taking much more of the longevity products than I'm used to. I'm sort of a slob and sort of a not diligent enough, you know. But this has scared me into being less of a slob and more diligent. Okay.
Well, that's good news.
But you wanted a specific thing, or?
I like hearing that a lot. But I mean, I know pork sandwiches are a big part of your diet, and that's protein.
Not really. You're thinking way back to the days when Jason Struby was sitting in Josh Stevens' chair. And I knew that he was a vegan, and I knew that nothing revolted him more than pork. So I would tease him. I would tease him at the beginning of each show, saying and telling him how much delicious pork I'd had for sandwich. Pork, and more pork. And every time I said pork, poor Jason would shrink further down onto the floor because it was really bothering him, you know. And you don't want to be fined by the government or for employee abuse. So I was very foolish to continue doing that, but I guess it stuck.
The heavily porked out sandwiches, the pork sandwich era, that kind of all intertwines with the humble brine era, because I would go straight from, you know, heavy pork to humble brine, and it was all part of the shtick. I loved it a lot.
Just for the heck of it, since you brought up the pork, and I brought up what's the barbecue? The what? What's it called, Josh? What's it called?
Holy Smokes.
Yeah, okay.
Barbecue.
Holy Smokes Barbecue, right here on East Cliff.
Yeah,
they are not an advertiser. I would love for them to become an advertiser. You folks out there can help us by taking this true from the heart, whether they ever become an advertiser or not. You know, this is a testimonial from poor old beleaguered MZ and the entire staff of KSCO that has tried their pork belly barbecue sandwich.
I haven't tried it.
It's to die for. It's the best pork I've ever tasted.
I've tried their fish and chips.
Well, MZ, I'm going to let go of all Chinese bias, and I'm going to go over to the Chinese restaurant that you used to advertise for up the street.
Yeah.
From you. I'm going to go get the sweet and sour pork because I love their sweet and sour pork dish.
Okay.
And they have a great lunch special there.
All right. And be sure to tell them that it's your idea to go there now, but be sure to tell them that you found out about them because of KSCO. And a lot of these restaurants who I guess are just on the edge of going out of business because all they can do is serve, to-go orders. I think a lot of them can benefit by being. We'll come up with a special rate or something, you know, where we can promote. Hey, this place is open and they're special. They're best for this and best for that. And so, what, Josh Stevens?
There was one that's actually doing that. That's also.
Awesome. You know, I really appreciate the fact. You know, MZ, I think you were one of the first people on the radio on KSCO to take the pandemic seriously, even though you don't take things seriously often, but. I think between the lines, you did take it seriously.
Yeah.
And I was treated like I was crying wolf a lot by Charles Friedman. You know, he thought it was a common cold, and him and I went back and forth about it. But I finally got him to agree last week that he would finally admit that it was serious if he got it. And he felt
Thank
really,
God.
really, really
now
bad.
we don't have to have Charlie put to sleep.
No, I encouraged him to live another 20 years and stay on the radio.
Right. Josh is amused. Stephen Capitola, thank you very much for calling 479.
Hey, thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. And now we're going to go to Steve in Pacific Grove. One of MZ's best shows. Which one? Which were you talking about?
You remember the rabbis? I think it was last year. By the way, hello, MZ. I wish you well.
How are you feeling, Steve, in Pacific Grove?
Yeah, I feel fantastic. I'm kicking ass. But you guys, I'll tell you, between Mike and Jack and you, when you deal with your religious matters, you guys are spot on. When
you say
had the
I
rabbi,
had a couple of rabbis on?
Yeah, you had a couple rabbis like last year. Remember?
No.
Well, if you don't,
no,
doesn't
I
matter.
don't. But it's terrible. But then I could, my memory's been going south for years.
So is mine. But
I think I caught it
asked.
from my mom.
No, you asked.
Okay.
It's one of the best programs you had.
All right.
And
if it was within a couple of years, it should be searchable. So just do a Google search or a search for Rabbi Saturdays KSCO Saturday Special, and it should come right up.
It's before all the other horse hooey happened. No, they were very gentlemanly. Just like when Dave has his Christian guests come on, they're all gentlemen.
That's
one thing I love about your show.
They sure are gentlemen. And the people who are the few people in our audience, and I don't know for sure, but I believe there are few in number of godless people, proud godless people like Billy Sunshine, for example. I mean, he makes no bones about being proud to be godless, right? And I think that's so sad, even though I think Billy is, got a great sense of humor and he's very smart, just misled. But anyhow, do you think we should change, might as well, since our whole world is changing in front of us, in hours and days, do you think we should change our KSCO listening constitution?
I think a gentleman like yourself should practice patience. 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 Patience.
And I'll do that.
What
I
do you
think that's
mean
good advice. But hold on, Josh Stevens. Don't hold that thought. Here's what I'm talking about specifically. It is well known that we do not allow stupid people to listen to KSCO. Should we extend that to not allowing godless people? Or
you're going to be
or
like
should
Jesus.
should we lump
with the sinners?
Or
you got to sit with the sinners, MC.
All right,
you got to
that's an
sit
idea.
with the sinners.
The other thing we could do is lump godless with stupid, and then it's automatically taken care of. Then we don't have to make any change. We don't need to have a constitutional convention here at KSCO. Yes, Josh Stevens.
Push the godless to the podcast. That's what you do.
Hey, well, MZ, love you. Wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Steve
show.
in Pacific Grove.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Who's next? Oh my God, it's Dick in Boulder Creek who loves the Friday shows. Hi, Dick in Boulder Creek.
Except it's Mick, not Dick. So you're
well,
good.
Josh Stevens.
You're fine.
I'm going to blame Josh Stevens because he deserves to be blamed.
Full responsibility for that one.
Well, I believe that as well. So, George Norrie does not believe in coincidence. Okay?
Yeah. He was on yesterday in the replay.
Yeah.
With me.
So, you and I, we've exchanged a couple times now. I'm the guy from Iowa, but so anywho, last night I'm listening to George Norrie interview with you because I moved here from Iowa 2 years ago. I think I've told you the story 1,000 times, but I love your radio station, and I just even when the guy's on there selling vitamins, I still listen to it just because it's just easy not to change the station. So
yeah, but it's good advice too. It really is, and we're very proud of it. Yeah, and people,
actually,
you know, we when I first got the radio station almost 30 years ago, there were a lot of people who were addicted, and you gotta love them. I mean, people who would walk around with headphones and connected to radios at the time, and they were, you know, they would call themselves talk show junkies, and they were tuned into us, and we weren't promoting the longevity line of nutrition at the time. I mean, it took 5 or 6 or 7 years after that, and each of those people, or most of those people that I know of, have since expired.
I am going to tell you that what is his
because
name,
they didn't know about, you know. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Dr. Ben Fuchs or whatever his name is.
Yes.
But the pharmacist that comes on, now that guy, oh my gosh, he literally should just write books and books and books. He is
that is pharmacist Ben Fuchs. He is the pharmacist.
Okay, that's who it is.
You were talking about Dr. Wallach. Dr. Wallach, who does the Dead Doctors Don't Lie show. You know,
right? He talks really fast. But that Ben Fuchs, oh my gosh, he is so smart. But so yesterday, I'm listening to George Norrie, and I'm Lebanese, like George Norrie is, and I've been listening to Coast since Art Bell. And I'm going to tell you, I have so wanted to call into his show and just on open line night where you just get to talk about nothing. And I want to hear more of his Lebanese history because, as I said, I'm Lebanese, and I love hearing our history as people. And especially when they've, you know, become movie stars or radio stars or personalities or whatever. And so you had him on last night, which was, I guess, from before Christmas or something.
It shouldn't have been last night. It should have been yesterday day from 2 to 4. That's when we do the old Saturday special reruns. Right. Yeah.
You're right. You are correct. And I tell you, that was just amazing. And so today I was thinking to myself, you know, I was going to call MZ and talk about some of these old shows, and not to go around this whole long story and make it short. You one time said that your mother interviewed Doris Day. And
No. I interviewed Doris Day for 10 minutes. I was allotted, only, and this was set up ahead of time on the condition that I did not talk about Hollywood in the movies, that we only talk about aminals, which was right. Doris's passion. And when we did the interview, and I have that, I could play that probably next hour. You could play that. It was great.
You found it. Okay,
I did find it.
Last time you said you couldn't find it.
Yeah, I did find it, and I think I emailed it to myself. But anyhow, Doris did not want to talk about aminals. We did. I lived up to my word and did not even ask her about Hollywood in the movies. All she wanted to talk about is my mom and give her a great big hug from Doris Day, one of the most famous people in the world. You know,
right,
and of course I did. Because Doris used to listen to KSCO a lot, and she loved my mom's commentaries. So
and when you play your mother's commentaries, I swear it's like wisdom from beyond. That woman, if I didn't, I don't know. That's an angel. Because
thank you,
wisdom.
At our current traffic conditions, we are seeing Highway 17's moving right along at the limit. Highway 101 Salinas to San Jose and back is at the limit as well, moving along incident-free. Generally nothing to worry about at this time. Even the CHP page appears to be quiet. We do have a traffic hazard at Highway 1 North and Emmeline. Doesn't say what. Taking a look elsewhere, yeah, we're at the limit. It's currently 53 outside KSCO. Today we're expecting a high of 63. Overnight temperatures going to be getting down to 46 tonight. Slight chance of rain for tonight with showers likely continuing throughout your weekend and starting off your new week. Taking a look at our local Doppler radar, we do see those showers in Salinas. Currently dry right now in Santa Cruz County. And it looks like you're going to be seeing showers from King City to Salinas at this time. KSCO News Talk time 11:07. With that said, time now for hour number 2 of the Saturday special. This is AM 1080 KSCO.
John Josh Stevens.
MZ.
May
Michael
I
Zwerling.
ask you a hour 2 personal question?
Sounds like a plan. What you got?
Are you having a good time on today's Saturday special when the world is coming apart?
I got to share some memes on the air, so I'm having myself a grand time, MZ. How about you?
Well, I'm afraid to admit that I'm sort of enjoying myself, because that won't fare well with the people in our audience who are frightened to death.
Of course, but that's why us having fun makes the audience.
You think it's
less
infectious, or do you think it'll make them resentful?
I think it's infectious.
Okay, good. I like that. That's good. Dave Michaels, you're back. How was hour number 1 in the Dave Cave?
Hour number 1 was actually pretty good. It's pretty good. I like that. You know what I like? I like what you and Josh just kind of stumbled onto, and that is the infectiousness of positivity, right? The infectiousness of laughter and keeping a good attitude it's infectious. It is something that can spread as long as you keep it within you. This is a good thing that you want.
Yeah.
It's good to keep your spirits up. That's a fantastic thing.
Long before this was an issue, the virus, I'm sure from writing those great show notes about the Saturday special, that I've been a proponent of moving away from trolls using talk radio and just being downers, as Wendell in Reno calls them, with people from Downerville.
Right.
And I guess they're just those kinds of people, who have those kinds of personalities. They love being pricks.
They love to be miserable.
Yeah.
There's a certain percentage of people who love to be miserable, and there's nothing they love more than that than to bring other people down with them and to share their misery. You got to stay away from those people. Stay away from them, because that too is contagious and infectious.
Yeah, it just brings you down.
Yeah.
God.
I have no time for that. That's why I lock them all out of the Dave Cave, MZ. Everybody is locked out.
Even the positive ones?
You have to knock. Yes, that's the way it's going to have to be. Go up to the Dave Cave, knock. I will come out to the door and get you hooked up with what you want. I use gloves, disinfectant, and disinfect everything, and put it in a new bag, so this way everything's nice and clean.
And it doesn't matter if you sneeze on your gloves, right?
Right. I mean, that doesn't matter because they're gloves.
Yeah.
Obviously. But come by the Dave Cave. We'll get you hooked up with what you want. Bring exact change. So if you are going to come by, make sure you bring 5s. And nothing ends with the 1. Everything ends in 5. So $5 bill. Make sure you have at least 1.
Some end in 0.
Some end in 0, right? But you're not going to have any change. There's no change necessary when that happens.
Like a $15 bill. That would be a
$3 bill, which
and
we gladly accept.
a $25 bill. Yeah.
Right. I'm out there at the Dave Cave. I sold 2 healthy brain and heart packs, and I'm going to make a delivery in Aptos. I'm going to drop off 2 cans of BTT with Lynn. So if there's anybody in the Aptos area who would like a delivery today, call 288-2221.
Would that include Watsonville too? Since
yeah, absolutely. 218-5726. That's 218-KSCO, right? 218-KSCO, and we can deliver it somewhere between Aptos and Watsonville. Both of those, we could do that today, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. Okay. Otherwise, stop by the Dave Cave, bring exact change, knock on the door, and we'll get you hooked up with whatever it is that you need.
Yeah, knock on the door.
Yes.
That would be very... Thank you, Dave Michaels. Okay, we've done hour 1. What haven't we done? We've done... Here's hour 2. This is what we haven't done. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
So, got any good jokes for us? We really could use some good jokes for the second hour. Really, just dig them up. Just dig them up between now and the end of the hour. Of course, call them in.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
Dan in Watsonville. How great is this station?
Oh, it's wonderful. I used to listen to it all the time, but now I have a problem. It doesn't come in Watsonville, which is a third world city, in my opinion. And the station just doesn't come in. I keep trying to pick it up, and I really love the Saturday special, so I struggle to pick it up every Saturday. It just doesn't come in.
Let me ask you some questions. It sounds to me like it's a radio issue, because if it's a broadcasting issue, we would know about it for sure. But tell me, do you listen to us on AM 1080 or do you listen to us on FM 104.1?
It's FM, but the AM side, it doesn't come in on that side either.
Okay. Let me. Would you do me a favor? Would you send me an email to that effect, and I will forward it to our esteemed engineer? Oh, you don't have a computer? Oh, you don't use email? Is that right? Okay. I'll see what I can find. Yeah. We will do everything. This is an important thing for us, obviously. So we want our show to be heard in larger areas.
I used to listen to your station every day, but now I kind of gave up on it because it's hard to pick it up.
Okay.
On Saturdays I still try because I like the Saturday special show. It's a lot of fun to listen to it.
We will get on it the best I can. But boy, do you know anybody in the world? Do you have a relative or a friend who has an email that they could send me? Because I hate to sound lame here, but I unless I get an email, it's probably not going to happen. I don't know how people function in this world without email. I honestly don't.
I'm a dinosaur.
Okay, but do you know anybody in the world who uses email? A friend, a relative?
My father does. Yeah.
Why don't you talk to your father and have your father send an email, a reminder email to mz@ksco.com. That's all he has to do is say reminder. Don't even have to say what it's about, because I'll remember then. But that's what will get me to do what I have to do, because I'm going to forget about it right after this call. Otherwise, chances are, because I'm getting old and feeble. That's the reason.
Yeah, I am too. I'll do that then. I'll do that.
Jesus, what about your dad then? He must be really old.
He's going to be 86 in May.
And he uses email. All right, cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling the Saturday Special, Dan, and thanks for reporting that problem. We need to get on it. Here is Timothy in Santa Cruz with some jokes.
Hey, those pork sandwiches you've been eating.
Yes.
Are they kosher pork sandwiches?
Probably not, because I don't know of any that are, but there might be. That would be a good business opportunity. Kosher pork.
Yeah, maybe you should talk to Rabbi Phil. You know, at the last free meal down at the last Christmas down at the museum, they had him serving the ham.
Jeez.
I thought that was pretty funny. Well, you know,
was it meant to be funny, or is it just a change in the times?
It was funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, you know, it must be kosher if it's served by a rabbi. You know, you could have him bless your pork sandwich.
You know, if that was important to me, I would. But what's important to me is the taste of the delicious sandwich.
Well, it might taste better if it's blessed.
You got a point there. All right, well, thank you for bringing it up. I do appreciate it. Now, you have some jokes, or is that it?
No.
That's it?
Have you heard that Corona Beer is petitioning the government to have the name of the virus changed to Bud Light?
Ooh, I got one on that note.
Oh yeah, here I'm gonna turn poor Timothy in Santa Cruz off so he can hear poor Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Alrighty. So, MZ, what do you get when you combine Silicon Valley with the healthcare industry?
I'm struggling to come up, but I can't. I give up.
You get COVID California.
That should have been obvious. Did you like that, Timothy of Santa Cruz?
Yeah.
Do you have any others for us?
Oh yeah, I got lots. You know.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them come from my cat CB.
From your cat?
Yeah.
You have a cat who can tell jokes?
Oh yeah. She's a very special cat.
All right, I can't wait.
Because yeah, well, she recently had to assure her fans that although she has the same initials as Corona beer and Chinese buffet and cooked bat, that she is in no way responsible for the creation or spread of the coronavirus.
That is good.
And even, she doesn't drink Mexican beer, she doesn't eat Chinese food, and she definitely doesn't eat cooked bats, even if they are called flying mice.
Which they are, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And let's see. The Go-Go's have a new hit out now.
What is it?
Staycation, all they ever wanted. Staycation, just couldn't get away.
Yes, good, well put.
And, CB, she's going to be having a teleconference, because although...
CB the Pussycat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's, because, she's a very friendly cat, but cats in general are experts at social distancing. So if you need any advice on being aloof or skittish or just plain running away, because, they don't call them scaredy cats for nothing.
Oh.
So if you send her an email, she'll put you on the waiting list for the teleconference on social distancing to be announced at a later date, maybe after she takes a nap.
I'd like to meet this pussycat.
Yeah, she's great.
Will you bring her to the station someday when we're not under quarantine?
Well,
if that ever happens.
She doesn't like to travel too much.
Oh.
Although I did take her to Disneyland once.
Then what happened?
It didn't turn out too well. She went on a couple rides, but then she met Mickey, and he put out his hand and to shake, and her hand is quite a bit bigger than his. And
yes.
It also has claws.
Right.
And that tail of his looks just like a string, and you know how cats are around strings.
I do.
And next thing you know, it's like Mickey is going on one of his own rides, kind of a cross between the teacups and the Matterhorn. It was an ugly sight. And then Minnie gets involved, and next thing you know, she's got a double-decker with cheese. Onlooking children were scarred for life.
Yeah. See, those things happen, and and Disney does not like it. But they.
Yeah. Talk about getting the Disney lawyers after you. Oh boy.
Jeez. Yeah. Gee, yeah. Timothy, how can I thank you for these rapid fire jokes on the Saturday special?
Yeah, I got a million of them. She's a very special cat. How many cats do you know that have run for president? Yeah, she was asked in a press conference if she was a Republican or a Democrat.
Uh-huh.
She said neither. Oh, so you're a third-party candidate.
A candidate, yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
She said she'll go to as many parties as it takes to get elected. She is the original party animal.
Oh.
And she was asked if she was in she believed in a strong defense. Absolutely. Especially if there's a dog on the other side of defense.
That's pretty good.
She did get into a little bit of trouble, though, because of that scandal with that she tried catnip when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But she assured her voters that she did not inhale when she tried the catnip.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you would have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Timothy in Santa Cruz, I don't want thank you so much for all those jokes, and I know you got a bunch more probably, but poor Lowell in Soquel has a joke.
Okay, I'll call in later if it dies down.
If it dies down, right. Okay, thank you so much for being there for us. Tim in Santa Cruz. Lowell in Soquel.
Hey, MG, I'd be less poor if more customers came in today. But anyway, that's not where I'm coming from.
Oh, okay.
Why are there so many Italians in Truckee?
I wasn't aware there are, but why?
The Donner Party wouldn't eat them.
The Donner Party wouldn't eat them. Okay. That's pretty good.
We're coming up on a holiday here pretty quick, and this one kind of fits in there. Do-it-yourself Easter kit.
Uh-huh.
2 boards, 3 nails, and a Jew.
Oh, jeez.
That terrible?
That poor poor taste humor.
Yesterday, you were hearing I can't even talk today, talking about what to use for toilet paper. That was part of the Flight 1080.
Right.
And there's an old thing used to be on the walls in some of the outhouses.
Right.
Here I sit among the vapors. Some dirty bastards took the papers. It's time to go. I cannot linger. Look out, ass. Here comes my finger.
ooh. Okay. Now,
I'll leave you with that.
See here, Lowell.
Yes, sir.
It is. Here's a tip. Here's an MZ hygiene tip. An MZ economic and tip of the day. Because there's a shortage of toilet paper and everybody knows that. I recommend that people economize and use both sides of the toilet paper.
And one square at a time.
Right. Oh, jeez. Oh,
and
God.
Properly, when you've already used one side, your finger goes through it. And you clean things up, and then you slide it off carefully, and it cleans your finger.
No, I never thought of that. But thank you very much for bringing that up on the Saturday special. Always.
What did the leper say to the prostitute?
What?
Keep the tip.
Okay. Okay.
I'll
my
talk
God.
to you later.
Take care. Thank you, Lowell. Paul in San Francisco with an interesting story. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Michael. It's Paul Kangas.
I figured. How you doing?
I am alive, and here's an interesting story. I will not explain why I know this, but maybe I will. Dogs don't get the coronavirus.
Yes, that's what
their bodies manufacture vitamin C 2 grams an hour, according to Linus. And in China, what they did was they started giving infusions of vitamin C to people who had the coronavirus, vitamin C. And so they were able to shut down their hospitals quickly. They now have not had a death in a week. So I recommend people take vitamin C every hour. That way you...
I haven't done it that often, but I will. We still have some, right? Yeah, we still have CFX. That's the super mega vitamin C from Longevity. And Paul, that's great advice. Thank you.
Well, let me pass on one more thing.
Sure, please.
I am an official FEC write-in candidate for President of the United States. So if you write my name on the ballot, if you're going to protest, in other words, you don't like anybody.
Yes.
You write in my name, it will be counted officially.
Yes.
So I expect to get about 100,000 votes in November, but I probably won't hear the...
But spell the name, K-A-N-G...
G-A-S.
Kangas.
Yes, and you can... I'm on YouTube if you want to see my YouTube stuff.
Right. Great. Okay. Thank you for calling the Saturday special. By the way, I did find that recording with my short interview, a piece of interview from my Doris Day thing. It was 2007. What is that? 13 years ago. Okay. Duffy in La Selva. Duffy. Hi, Duffy.
Zwerling! Hey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, just wanted to throw some positive stuff out.
Wait. But Duffy, do me a favor. Get back 6 feet, however long your arm is. Put your phone there, because I think you just blew out everybody's ears in the Monterey Bay area who happen to be listening to KSCO, and they'll probably never listen again because they probably won't be able to listen again. But now, we want to hear what you have to say.
Wow, man, more negative stuff. This is killing me. I mean, everything... It's like this whole corona thing. Everybody's like trying to find ways to be negative. All I'm trying to do is call with some positive information and say this. I'm in La Selva, and I'm looking around, and I'm saying to myself, wow, look at what a beautiful thing that all those blooming minerals, longevity blooming minerals, are doing to all the roses, fruit trees. Everything's like thriving from that. And so I just wanted to put the plug in. We might be seeing, we're seeing toilet paper and things of that nature, shortages and hoarding. We could possibly be seeing something like that happening with our fruit and vegetable supply. So what I'm saying is longevity blooming minerals might be a good thing for people's gardens and fruit trees to promote good, healthy growth. So if we do, you could be prepared and have that stuff in your own garden. You won't have to go and find empty shelves of, fruit and healthy foods and foods that you need to support yourself during these current times of, shortages. So I just wanted to throw some positive information out to you and bring some positive stuff to both of our lives.
Great. Duffy, that was a wonderful thing you did. And for those of you, there aren't many Duffys out there. And I know what you're thinking. Is that the Duffy who doesn't catch poison oak? And the answer is yes. That is true. That is the one and only Duffy who does not catch poison oak and who is a very positive person. I've never heard a negative thing said out of Duffy's mouth. Anyhow, so thank you, Duffy, for calling 479-1080. Thanks, folks! Hey, Warren.
Hello.
Warren Knox of Knox Roofing.
MC, I'm out here driving around. I'm wondering why you were caught having a drink on your roof last night.
I was?
Yeah, you were told the drinks are on the house.
Oh, okay.
There's your joke for the day.
Okay. Well, it's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Now, Warren Knox of Knox Roofing, let's see, your business is always good, especially in the rainy season, right?
Yeah, they didn't shut us down here, fortunately. Construction can still work, so if you got a bad roof, I'm still out and about here helping folks out.
Okay, and the phone number to call, not the one you're calling from, but what is that number, 438, what is it?
My number, 461-0634.
Okay, good.
All right.
Warren Knox of Knox Roofing. Thanks, folks!
All right.
Hey, do it for us. Do it the right way. I don't do it. I'm told... Good. I was told. Do it again without me talking over it, please.
Thanks, folks.
That's the guy. That's the authentic, original. I'm told I do a pretty good impression, but not nothing close to the real deal. Thanks, Warren. You have a good one. Take care. Here's David in San Francisco, slow and steady for Epidem.
Oh, yeah. Although, hey, Michael, by the way, was that Foghorn Cleghorn just was on before me?
No. Who was that? Well, you mean just before you was Warren Knox of Knox Roofing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember.
I remember Foghorn. That's a joke, son. That's a joke, son. That guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, well, the epidemics, slow and steady does win an epidemic. You got to keep wiping off the doorknobs, keep wiping down the sink, whatever you're doing, keep the place clean, and slow and steady wins an epidemic. All the way back to the Black Plague, you got to keep killing the rats and wiping out the fleas. The various kinds of epidemics throughout centuries, keeping it clean. So it's slow and steady wins the race. The other thing I was going to raise is we got a lot of free time on our hand, and, it's pretty obvious that food prices are going to go crazy, so we might as well put in a garden. And, as you probably have heard, with global warming, the smartest thing that humans could do is plant trees. So if you've even got a small yard, if you could get about 20 or 40 trees started in pots in your backyard, and then, at the proper time of year, take them out to where there are no trees and get them established.
What a great idea. Wow. Yeah, thank you. We love spreading great ideas on the Saturday special.
Well, it's cheap and easy to do. It's an 800. Well, no, you're not an 800 number, are you?
No.
But so I got to be Paul Revere on my own dime.
Well, most people are aware that long distance service is free or close to free or flat rate now. You don't have to worry about paying by the minute. So.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
So anyhow, David and SF, thank you very much for calling the Saturday special.
Good week.
Okay, take care. Here's Dane in Watsonville who has a joke, and then we're going to go to Ray from Marina who has a quick joke.
So I got two quick jokes.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard the good news.
What?
But Chuck Norris was exposed to the coronavirus, and the coronavirus has now been in quarantine for 14 days.
That's pretty good.
Also, I think Tim might have been practicing some social distancing with CB for a little bit there too long. I think he needs to go say hi to some people.
Oh, yeah, Tim, who had the bunch of jokes about the pussycat.
Yeah, they were good-natured jokes, but I think you need to go hang out with some people.
Okay. Well, if Tim is still listening, that is a suggestion, an affectionate suggestion from Dane in Watsonville.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Have a good
Thank
one.
you so much to you two. Here's Ray and Marina with a quick joke. Hey, Dane, Ray.
Hey, MZ. Hey, the other day I was wishing that Paul Newman was still alive.
Why?
Because they could make a new movie, be in a small town jail in China, and call it Wuhan Loop. And what we have here is a failure to decontaminate. And that's all I got.
I love it. Hey, thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too. Okay, there are no callers on 479-1080 at the moment. Doesn't mean that there can't be, because we got almost a half hour left. But let's do this, because let's play the Doris Day thing from years ago. Okay, you don't mind, do you, Josh Stevens?
Just after a quick thing, though.
Sure.
Is it possible that all the callers got quarantined by Quentin Quarantino?
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Yeah, here's a sign that says "Quarantine" by Quentin Quarantino, and here it is on my, control surface. What am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this old interview. Oh, let's bring Doris Day on and say, welcome to KSCO.
Michael.
Hey, Doris, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, except for my allergies.
Uh-oh.
Carmel Valley allergies.
Wow. Yeah. Now, you and I have never talked, but I heard a rumor that a number of years ago, at least, you used to listen to KSCO, to one of our talk show hosts or one of our programs or something. Is that correct? Or was
I forget which program it was. I can't remember that. But, yes, I listen to your station all the time, and I'm going to do what say what everybody says to you. I love your mom. I do.
Oh, my gosh.
You must tell her that. I'm sure she hears it from everyone. And I would love to have everything that she has written and talked about, I'd love to have in my library.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
wow,
I really mean that. I think that she's fantastic. And I rush. The minute I hear that sweet voice, no matter where I am, I rush and sit at the phone. Sit at the radio.
I don't blush very easily, but I'm blushing now because, the first question I was going to ask you is, how does it feel to be so famous? And now here, one of the most famous people in the world is complimenting me very strongly about my own mother on my own radio station. It just blows me away. I can't.
You have to ask your mom that question. She's the one who's famous. She really is. She's adorable.
You're very sweet. Thank you so much for saying that.
No, it's true. It's just true. I'm not being sweet just to be sweet. She is something else.
Wow.
And I wouldn't miss her.
Well,
and you're great, too. You do a great job, Mike.
Oh, well,
You do. I love the station.
Appreciate the kind words. Yeah, it's tough to be an independent in a world where there are no independents left.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
That was the end of that. So that was the real, honest-to-God Doris Day, talking about the real, honest-to-God K. Zwerling. And now we're going to go to the real, honest-to-God Dr. Eric Wattenburg. in Oregon, whom I have owed a email to for several days. I hope, Eric, you understand that
Yeah,
I have
do,
been
Ramsey.
so incredibly busy, as I'm sure have you.
Oh, we have. I've been on the air every morning here on our local radio station giving 10-minute updates, and we had a couple of roundtables yesterday, very much like your Saturday special here. Tell you the truth, I was just drafting an email to you saying, hey, I texted you a few days ago and I haven't heard back, so here's my email.
Yeah.
You're probably on the air right now. And I said, wait a minute, I'll just call him.
Yeah. Good. Half of you did. So, yeah, you there's no, you have a different perspective, I think you were saying, or your audience does, and you had some really lively interactions recently, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oregon, fortunately, is getting through this much less dramatically than the bigger cities. California, you all know what you're going through. New York, Washington State. We don't have a lot of cases in Oregon. Some people are saying we're not testing enough people and we just don't know it. And I won't go into the specifics. There are websites you can go look at to see what the numbers are. Personally, well, I don't know. When this all started, I was of the opinion we're really going overboard with this. Why are we destroying our economy? But the numbers are increasing fairly rapidly. We just don't know how this is all going to play out. I'm sure you've heard all the comparisons to the annual flu, the SARS outbreak we had in 2003, and then the MERS outbreak in around 2014 or 15. Those were premonitions of what might happen in the future, and we did learn a lot from those, but those outbreaks weren't near the magnitude of this one. So,
right, wow.
I haven't been listening to the station, unfortunately, so I'm not up to speed on what all you've discussed, and I don't want to repeat things. But are you aware that SARS episode that we had in 2003 was a coronavirus?
I think I'd heard that actually. Yeah. So it's so it's not the first time. It's just more intense this time.
That was actually called. Yeah, this time we've been calling it COVID-19, which actually is not the technical name of the virus. That COVID-19 is the disease entity that it causes.
Right.
So this virus actually
along with others, right? But that's the big one that we're all paying attention to now, right?
Yeah, COVID-19 is the disease entity. It's the cough, the fever, the respiratory failure. But the virus actually is called SARS-CoV-2 because -1 was the episode in 2003.
Oh.
That was the SARS that everybody got scared of that came out of the Guangdong province and also hit Hong Kong and one other, I think Vietnam had hit. And there were about 8,000 cases documented at that time, and then it just fizzled out. And then the Middle East respiratory syndrome hit us in about 2014. It was another coronavirus, and that one really fizzled out very quickly. But both of those scared everybody, and I'm convinced we built such a bureaucracy of fearmongers. And I don't want to call the doctors and the epidemiologists that, but I'm pretty certain when this all plays out, we're going to realize just how many special interests really had their livelihoods just waiting for something like this. And they've drummed it up as hard as they can. Yes, we've got a lot of cases in it. I may end up having to eat my words. And I hope I don't have to eat my words, because if I do, it means it really got bad.
Sure.
But, we've destroyed our total worldwide economy, let alone the United States, when really there's only a few regions that are having trouble. It's the major cities. So why did we shut down all of middle America? Why did we shut down all of rural America over something that the numbers just don't pan out to show that it was probably indicated at this point? But how are we not going to do it?
I should remind everybody, I'm sure a lot of people know, because you took over your dad, Dr. Bill Wattenberg's radio show a few years back. and was carried on this program through the Talk Radio Network. But Dr. Eric Wattenburg has a medical clinic, or multiple medical clinics. Am I right, Eric?
Just the one.
Okay.
It's a urgent care occupational health clinic in Redmond, Oregon, just outside of Bend.
Oh, okay. And you are a medical doctor, an MD, and
I am.
Yes, and so the MDs around here, around Santa Cruz, around San Francisco, are really freaking out. I mean, the ones that I've had conversations with, both on the radio and off, they're really freaking out. And I'm wondering, and when I think about it, it sort of stands to reason, because these people are plugged into the epidemiologists and so forth who might study this more, intently. And every time I talk, you're the first medical doctor I've talked to, refreshingly, that's not, just all gloom and doom. In fact, you're a little encouraging, except we're not so much. You can't. You're incredulous that they've taken this thing and blown it out to destroy the world economy, and that's, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it just makes no sense. But
I don't think. I really hope it hasn't been, worked up to specifically destroy the economy, but look what's happened to it. It has shut down life as we know it, and the repercussions of this are going to reverberate much longer than the virus itself. Businesses are going to go belly up. People's livelihoods and retirement are going to be destroyed, and I really hope it was worth it. This is going to go way beyond a virus. This virus is going to play itself out in due time.
What's your prediction for the due time?
Nobody knows, because this is a different virus. But if you look historically, outbreaks like this, pandemics, if you want to call it that, nobody should be using the word epidemic yet. We do not have epidemic numbers. Pandemic means it's widespread. Epidemic means the numbers are horribly high. And I've heard some professionals and experts on TV just tossing around that word epidemic, and I think it's inaccurate and unfair to everybody. We've got 250,000 cases worldwide at this point. The United States, I think, is in the numbers of, 20,000 or so now.
Yeah.
But, people need to... We don't know how fast this is going to spread, but people need to keep in mind we have millions and millions of cases of the flu every year. Most of those are not tested positive. They're just assumed to be positive because they have the symptoms. And we have 25,000 deaths a year in the United States from the flu. Not that this won't become worse. We don't know yet. But I think as a country, we have overreacted, and our powers that be have handed down draconian restrictions that probably are not necessary in the less populated areas. Now, San Francisco Bay Area, L.A., Seattle, we haven't heard out of Texas yet, but, Houston and Dallas and Chicago and New York, where people are packed very densely, anything that crops up is going to go around much quicker. But did we need to destroy... I drove back from Salt Lake City. I went to pick up my daughter from college because college is closed. And, the truck stops are reeling from this. The restaurants are all closed. Your health clubs are closed. Was that really all necessary? Except in areas where we do know that it has higher numbers. And it kills me to watch the effect of this and what we're doing as a nation. And a lot of this, I think, is kind of CYA. Mm-hmm. Who is going to take the risk that if they don't hand down these restrictions and these shelter-in-place orders and distancing orders, and somebody dies because of the virus, I can just see it. The lawyers are going to come out and say, look, you had all of the warnings. You could have done everything we've done now. So in the setting of what's been done lately, I think everybody that has any anxiety about being held liable or responsible for a death because they didn't act in a draconian measure, I think that's what we've got. We've got a lot of people just saying, I don't want to take responsibility for this. I don't want anybody to point a finger at me that I didn't do something, didn't do everything we could do, because I don't want anybody pointing the finger at me that I should have done something a little more draconian and, can't be held responsible for somebody's death. I hate to be so cynical, but it's the world I live in healthcare.
Eric, hold on a second. Liz in Santa Cruz wants to ask you a question, so I'm going to lock you in and bring on Liz. Liz, go ahead. You're on with Dr. Eric Wattenburg.
Thank you. Eric, it's like when your dad was always talking about having the trees cut down, the little dead trees and all that, and no one listened. But he was so right on. And I have a question now. My question is would it make more sense, instead of saying 400 people in this country, 300 if we gave statistics, for example, if it's 400 people in the country, how many, what is the percentage, what's the population? 400 people, the population is only 1.5%? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Wouldn't it make more sense if we gave the percentages instead of giving numbers? Because people are hysterical, and they're acting out, in hysterical ways. And
the 400 being the number of deaths in the United States?
Yes, let's say the death, or you can use the number who's sick. But let's say the deaths, okay, because that's more frightening even, whichever. But if they, instead of saying 400 deaths in such and such a state, if they said, and the population of that state is 550 people, and the percentages, you see, is going to be a very different number. And I think it makes more sense. I would just like to make that suggestion.
And that's where I'm trying to go with this. On a proportionate response,
correct.
We are really going way beyond any measures we've ever gone by. With the flu, with the influenza, it doesn't scare anybody anymore because we have the influenza every year. Now, yes, the 1918 epidemic, it killed a lot of people, but I think we were in a different culture, different science, different. We were immediately post-war. People were moving all over the world. The malnutrition. We didn't have the science and the technology we do now to support people who need it.
That's right.
And
listen.
But to your point.
Yeah, I have one more thing. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, in 1956, we had an Asian flu in New York, and I had the flu. I was very young then, but I had the flu. And we didn't go to doctors, and nobody went to a doctor's office then, but we had pediatricians. So I called my pediatrician, and I told her. She says, "Oh yes, we don't know much about. We don't have anything that we're giving people, or et cetera." However, she said, just stay warm and drink a lot of tea. Okay. Now, and then that 1956 flu moved. Asian flu went to England and Europe. It went to Europe. And I still have the article from the English newspaper. I can email it to you if you want me to. And it was very interesting. And, they say on there exactly what's happened and what they're doing. It was all over Europe. And they mentioned, those who are really sick and those who aren't. I can send you. It's very short. I wouldn't send you. I can send you the URL and you can read it for yourself if you'd like.
Why don't you give that to the MZ or the producer there at the show?
Yeah, I've sent you things before years ago when you were on the show here.
Liz, we need to move on. We got a full board here, so thank you so much for calling. And
and go to statistics, please.
Okay.
Not whole numbers. Thank you.
So statistically, with the flu, on average, 2,000 people die every month.
Mm-hmm.
Take that one. Right. Automobile accidents.
Right.
4,000 people a month. The opioid epidemic, about the same. Now, I'm not saying this won't blossom and become just as deadly and severe, but to, I think, prematurely destroy our economy overnight. I'm not an economist.
Yeah, I'm so happy you called in, Dr. Eric, and I promise we need to get on the phone here, off the air here, and figure out what something cool to do, something smart to do. Okay?
Sure.
So I'll be in touch with you, promise, in the next day or two. Okay, if you're around.
Hey, Michael, it's been great, but hey, the phone line's lit up for you. So there you go.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So here we go, and everybody has got comments on Corona and all this and that. So want to see if we can get to them all before the end of the show. Thanks, Dr. Eric. Talk to you soon. I'm going to take the next, which is Ralph and Salinas, the virus and comments.
Hello.
Hi, Ralph.
Gee, I was hoping I could ask Dr. Eric a question.
Oh, well, it should have. If you should have told that to Josh, I would have kept Eric on. I thought people wanted to make their own things. Well, we're just going to have to get Eric back on if we can, as a regular show or a regular segment. That's what we're going to need to do. But go ahead. So, do you have any other comments? Because
what I was going to ask him, and I don't know what kind of doctor he is. I assume he's an MD. But Santa Cruz being a progressive community, there's a lot of naturopaths, osteopaths, people that practice alternative medicine, and the CDC is run by MDs who are trained in allopathic medicine, but during the 1918 pandemic, there were a lot of things. We didn't have the technology we have now, but there were doctors, MDs included, who tried various different approaches. And the most successful one was immunizing our own bodies. There's always that one person in a group or office who never gets sick, and you wonder why. Well, they're exposed to the same germs as everyone else, but they just can't multiply, in their bodies.
I don't know where I heard this, but I heard that if you have type O blood, you're less likely to contract the virus. Good news, Dr. Eric Wattenburg is back here, so you'll be able to ask him your question, but please make it quick. We want to get to everybody.
All right, let me condense it. They've known for quite a while that the whole corona family, all the viruses, are pH sensitive, meaning they need acidic environments to multiply and breed. And if you alkalize your blood, if you get your body up above 7, you're immune. What do you know about that?
You heard that, Dr. Eric?
Well, for starters, I wouldn't hang your hat on that. I wouldn't try to make a change. And do you know what the normal pH of your blood is?
Yeah,
it's 7.3. So you're already above 7. So I think you're barking up the wrong tree there. But that's all I can put in on that one. I think I heard something while I was sitting on hold about generating immunity over the years. We don't know, but with these viruses, one exposure tends to not give you immunity to the next time around, just like the flu. So
right, there is a Dr. Cheney who wrote a book during the 1918 pandemic.
Well, let's let MZ move on here.
Okay.
Let's let MZ move on to the next callers.
Got it.
Here. So the next caller will be Rory in Watsonville. Hey, Rory, you're on.
Hi, gentlemen. Thank you, Eric, Dr. Eric, for being on.
Less than 4 minutes now. Hey. Go ahead, Rory.
Okay. On the economy, I'm willing to try this for 3 weeks. I mean, it's already in play to break the spread. But if in 3 weeks this doesn't work, we must move quickly to Plan B, which is quarantine those that are the most susceptible to contracting and being affected by this virus, and let everybody else go back to work. What do you think, Dr. Eric?
Absolutely. And I think it ought to be a very regional, very focused if we're going to do that. Don't shut the whole country down.
Yeah,
great.
Well, agriculture's working. I was just up in our nursery just south of Klamath Falls, and we're full speed ahead to raise plants for the 2021 season. And we got to keep going. We cannot just hide from something that may or may not happen. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Rory in Watsonville. Margaret in Santa Cruz, quick.
Dr. Shiva, SHIVA, has a YouTube that's amazing. Truth, Freedom, and Health versus Fear, Fauci, and Fascism. Dr. Shiva. It's a must-watch. Also see Event 201. They were already wargaming this whole thing back in October. The Fauci is a deep state Clinton operative. Trump has been vaccine sucker punched by these vaccine advocates, and half the doctors on planet Earth don't know a damn thing about the immune system. It's A, C, and D.
Okay, MZ, I think we got to move on.
There we go. Ron in Novato. Ron in Novato.
Hello.
Ron, you only got a minute. Les, hurry.
Okay, well, I'm if I could talk. Sir, I'm wondering if that we're not sidetracking another issue. That's the epidemic amongst teens and preteens that are being promoted for the smoking of the electronic delivery systems, which affect these kids and will have a future effect, and the accumulation of these toxins from the use. And of course,
I see no reason why we ever should have allowed e-cigarettes in the first place. It was just going the complete opposite direction of where we should have been going.
Right.
We know how bad that is, and so.
Ron, thanks. We're going to try Rich in Ben Lomond real quick, like 30 seconds.
Yesterday morning, I heard on Democracy Now! 10,000 people worldwide have died. Now, 10,000 out of 7 billion comes out to less than, shall we say, 2 parts per million, which is no epidemic or pandemic. And these people who get the virus don't die. If you look at statistics, it doesn't look like something to worry about at all at this point. It could get worse, but I don't think so, because every time one of these things that come up, they just die out.
Josh, what's up next? What's up next for 12 to 1?
Next, we've got, it looks like some infomercial followed by old time radio next hour, or the following hour.
All right. So that's it. That's the end of the show here. We're going to have to maybe switch gears here, but too late now. Dr. Wattenburg,
AMZ,
thank
it's been
you.
great. I didn't mean to co-opt your show. I just meant to call in and say hi.
Well,
but, you take care.
I know.
You said, hey, we don't have any callers, so that's what happened.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch for sure. Okay, that's it for Ann. So that's all, folks.